Hello, welcome to Tarot with Tanya. This little video is our 7 cards for 7 days, and I genuinely hope that this helps anybody who might come across this video. And as always, take what resonates for you and leave behind anything that doesn't. And part of the purpose here is hopefully to help people learn to reflect, to go within, to see what really makes them tick. And tarot can be a tool for doing that. Plus, you know, as someone who has studied metaphysics for a long time, I'm trying to share with you also things that I come across, that I have derived comfort from, or feel like I've really learned something from, tools, you know, to use to see more deeply into life. So, you know, if that sort of thing interests you, I hope this helps. So for this week, we have 4 majors, and that is unusual in 7 cards. So, yeah, perhaps a very big time. We are going from April 10 to April 6, excuse me, 16, that would be. And that's getting us very close to an eclipse. And we've just gone through the Libra full moon, so we're in that waning moon energy now. And again, that eclipse will come up, and this one will be in Aries, you know, a very strong sign, an impatient one. It can be anyway. It can also express wonderful childlike qualities and enthusiasm, has a lot of leadership too. So we'll see what that eclipse ends up bringing. But anyway, strong energies for this week. And then we have a couple of discs and a sword. So the rest, you know, taken up by the majors, as I mentioned. And then we have a pairing of 4s and a pairing of 5s. So I'll talk about those as they come up. We begin Monday the 10th, April 10th, with the Strength card, and I'm using the Golden Tarot. Last week I went into that Guardian of the Night deck, which I love, and now we're dropping back some centuries. Obviously the cards weren't made then, but the artist has set them centuries ago. So Strength, number 8 of the majors. And there is a difference. Some decks will use 8 as more of a justice card, and then use 11 as more of a strength or sometimes lust card. And, you know, I actually sort of prefer it that way for whatever reason. But anyway, here we have this 8, a sign of infinity when you put it on its side. And that is, you know, above the head of our figure here too, and there's a sort of beast, looks like a lion, that she's tamed, and then you see this kind of champion on a horse behind her. So how do we get a grip on our own demons, our inner beastiness, and work with that? Because we can't eliminate it. It's not about controlling it. So on Monday, you know, maybe you feel some strength, or maybe you don't quite know what to do with your strength. You discover some strong parts of yourself, and, you know, try to express them in ways that are helpful to you and others. On the 11th, Tuesday, we get one of those disc cards, or coins here they're called. So it's an earthy energy, and this is a number 3 now. This card often has connotations of working together, a small group. Frequently it's women, and you do see, there's some men here too, but you see these women sitting down doing needlework. And creating something of beauty. And there's a figure on a ladder also working on something that's beautiful, this sort of 3 discs that are on the top of the card. And then a kind of supervisory figure, which is sort of interesting. But maybe that's some kind of consciousness. But anyway, when the 3 of discs comes up, there is a way, an opportunity to work together with others, to collaborate, to create something strong and beautiful. Wednesday, we have the other disc card that came up in this reading, and that one is the 4. So after the creativity, the flow of the number 3, 4 becomes very solid. It is the earth number in numerology, and you see a figure here with a book holding a disc, and then the other 3, it looks feminine to me, maybe, I'm not sure, a female figure here anyway, with the other discs at her feet. And associations with this card are holding on too tightly, being afraid to let go of your money, not wanting to spend because you aren't sure of what might happen. So that's a little bit the dark side. The more positive side can be to go inward and meditate, feel the strength of your own structure, and allow that strength, that structure, to give you a feeling of inner security, which is the security that matters the most anyway. When we get to Thursday, we have our second major, Wheel of Fortune. This one really works with the idea of the old and the new. You see the mother on the bed with the newborn, well, not newborn, but baby anyway. And then the old man down on the floor trying to light a fire. So it's the idea that, that wheel is turning, we're born, we grow, we mature, we die, and then, if you believe in reincarnation, we're reborn, we live, grow, die, etc. So we keep repeating that. When this card comes up, I feel like it is good fortune. It is definitely saying there's some good fortune there to be had. And, intuitively right now I'm hearing that it can also be like recognize what is good fortune, and that can be wrapped up in change. Sometimes at first it's hard to see that the change that's coming can be a good thing. We talk about every cloud has its silver lining, or it's a blessing in disguise, things like that. And we can have very raw feelings. And, again, this usually is good news, but I'm just wondering if the good news might be a little bit veiled. So hang in there, believe in it, and it will eventually manifest. Friday is our only day that I think is somewhat challenging here. And it's challenging on the mental level because it's a 5. We're going to have a 5 major later, so I'll make that connection between the two when we get to that point. Here, this card looks kind of sad to me. You see the face of the one, obviously toward us. We see the back of the other person running away. This card has been called defeat before. And, we have the 5 swords. 3 are still held. 2 are held. Then he has 1 pointing down, and then 2 on the ground. So was there some kind of defeat for someone in this thing? But nobody looks happy. Nobody seems at ease. So I tend to think of it as, how do we defeat, knock ourselves off balance, is one way to reframe that. How do we do that to ourselves? How do we knock ourselves off balance, through negative thinking? That's what's pointed to, with a card like that. So 5s connect to the Hierophant in terms of the majors. So, it's a challenge to try to think, positive thoughts, not use what I call negative imagination, but to put your imagination into prayer, perhaps. I just watched a wonderful video by Carolyn Mace where she talks about that. She's published a number of books. She's very metaphysical woman from Chicago, super practical in her way at the same time. And, you know, she was talking about how we can get very challenged when we feel our ego is threatened in some way, and change can do that. So we want to try, you know, to work past that, to recognize that as it's happening. By Saturday, we have the death card. And this is not literal death, it's transformation. It is changing form, leaving something behind to move into a new way of understanding, of seeing, perhaps of behaving. Here, this is an interesting one. You have this sort of figure. I read the figure as death, and it's being fed by these angels. At least they have these blue wings. So it's really interesting. It's very celestial. And then I'll try to bring it up close enough. If you look at the very top of the card, you'll see a skull. And to me, that skull has wings. It's creepy in a way. But we have to remember that it is symbolic and not literal. That this is number 13, you know, which in numerology is a 4. So we're connecting back to that 4 of disc, that solidity. So it's just part of the soul's journey. And we get the next card in the majors right after this in our reading for this week. So let's go ahead and go there. And this is the Temperance card. And it's number 14, which makes it a 5 in numerology, and obviously right after the death card. So after that transformation, that change in some way, we are invited to get a grip on our emotions, our expressions, the way that we flow energy or repress energy. This card is standing in a pond, is how I see it. There's a duck or goose, I guess it would be a duck floating there. And if you look very closely, probably hard for you guys to see, the feet seem to be in that water. And at the same time, there's the pouring from cup to cup, which is frequently seen on depictions of temperance. What does that mean? Well, it's very connected also to the star card and to the sign of Aquarius. Aquarius holds up one picture, generally gets the cosmic knowledge, the divine understandings, the things that take us into the future, and shares that then with humanity while also trying to keep enough for the self. So we're all vessels, we're all receiving, and here it is keeping that from spilling out too much. You know, it can even be sharing too much. But how do we temper our own nervous systems, our emotions, even our thoughts? Temperance is a good card to help us focus on that calmness. And, you know, I teach yoga too. And I think that's a great way to take those energies and to help ourselves ground them so that we don't act them out in ways that might come back to haunt us. So that was our Sunday, our last card for the week. So again, 4 majors, strength, stability this week. You know, take it, you know, from that direction or in that direction. I think that's our best bet, especially since we have that strength card, the 4 of discs, death, that strong 4 number, double in strength with it being 8. And then, you know, trying to get a bit of a check on any negative thoughts and to put our imaginations into a positive place. And another thing that Carolyn May said that I'd like to share is that when we pray, when we're trying to communicate with the universe, source, God, our guides, however you conceive of it, that's holy imagination. We are using our imaginations in a holy way rather than in that negative way when we get into doubt, fear, worry, things like that. And you know, like most people, I believe I struggle with those things too. So I just try when they come up to reach into those other places that can, you know, help lift the vibration, lift the energy, which, you know, ripples out and affects all of us eventually. So for our oracle card this week, I went back to the Winged Enchantment and Grouse. I feel like I've never pulled this card before. Certainly not in these readings, but even for myself. So it's number 14. So there we have that echo of the Temperance card. And let's see, looking for my little booklet here. What they say about Grouse. I am Grouse, the dancer of sacred dances. And, you know, that is another connection to temperance, because sometimes you'll see temperance figures on temperance cards and they are dancing. They are trying to align with the cosmic waves. I am the spiral of life. I am the vortex of energy. I am the personal power that spins your reality. I am what you create through movement. I am the shaman's ally and the portal of spirit. I am entrance and the ability to entrance. I love that connection. I had never thought about that entrance is also entrance. It's time to let go and release your storehouse of energy. Send it up and outward. Let it move through every part of your being. I am earth magic. I am ceremony. I am the heart of the medicine man or woman. You have been drowned out by the material and the mundane. You have loosened your etheric ties. Step into a little personal ritual and wake up your gods and goddesses. And that could just be putting on a favorite song, an album, whatever, and dancing your dance. So wear a headdress, bang the drums, summon the ancients. Great things are awakened with movement. And I do believe that, you know, in this digital age, it is so easy to sit and push a button, you know, click on something and just be there for hours and hours and hours. And there's a whole beautiful world out there with smells and tastes and textures and sounds and sights. And, you know, here, of course, in the Northern Hemisphere, we have spring and it's beautiful. So it ends. You are the power of instinct. You are reverberation. You are the energy of dance. You are Grouse. So I hope that helps you, as I mentioned before. And in the description box for this video, I will put the rest of that little numerology thing, I promise, because it's, you know, we're getting long here already. If you're interested in a personal reading for yourself to help you with any life issues, get in touch with your guides, things like that, I'm here for you. So my information will be in the description box also. So have a great week, beloveds, and thank you so much for being here for Tarot with Tanya.